Japanese essentials are wonderful. Simply put, it's like finding something basically done in the most subtle and different way that it gives you a different perspective on even the most mundane. And that, my friends, was just an artsy attempt at me explaining why you should consider these next Japanese pieces, these essentials, if you will. I'm Reggie Casual, and these are 7 Japanese essential must-haves that you must have. Not all of you are gonna want these things because not all of it's gonna fit into your wardrobe, but these are some great things to highlight when it comes to Japanese essentials. Anyway, let's get it. Japanese denim, that's the first one. Yeah, it's like a no-brainer, right? Japanese denim is probably the most well-known fashion essential to explore in Japan, and yet it's still very much so worth the hype. What's so amazing about JP denim though is that you have so many options. Edwin, Momotaro, PBJ, Pure Blue Japan, Japan Blue, Oni, Samurai, Flathead, or even Levi's made in Japan. Now, the list of denim is exhaustive, but well worth the rabbit hole you'll inevitably sink into. Me personally, I'm a Momotaro guy, but Pure Blue Japan, PBJ, Studio de Artisan have caught my eye more than enough times to have me sweating to get some. It's just one of those things that you have to check out, full count, whatever. Just check out Japanese denim, you won't be sorry. And if you have one pair, it'll last you a lifetime. So it's not the season for hoodies, I get that, at least at the time of this episode. But in case you come back to this episode, or you happen to drop by this episode later this year or later in a colder month, Japanese cardboard knit hoodies are going to be your next purchase. They're going to be. I'm not even allowing you to miss out on these. In Japanese, we call them danboru nitto. Danboru nitto ne. Literally cardboard knit, that's the translation. And they are by far the most pristine pieces of populous clothing you'll ever encounter in Japan. They are so popular, they sell out every year from brands like Ships, labels like the luxury designer Minimal Work of Colney, and that brand actually makes it their constant pieces. Now, cardboard knit hoodies are basically a thicker, plush, more comfortable version of, I'd like to say, like neoprene, but they hold their shape and they are lightweight. They also look more upscale and don't lose their color, ever. Basically, they are damn near perfect, and getting one from any label that sells them is basically doing your wardrobe a favor. I particularly like the ambitious ones from labels like Atto, but if you're not into those kind, there are more than enough to choose from that are just normal. So cardboard knit hoodie, if you don't know what to say when you come to Japan, just say danboru nitto, parka. And then you'll be like, oh, they'll be like, I got you, I'ma hook you up. They won't say it in English. They may say it in English because a lot of Japanese people speak English today, so they may know exactly what you're talking about. But in any case, get a cardboard knit hoodie. You'll thank me later. So for our next one, we're still focusing on the season that this episode is dropping, again, summer. And if you know anything about summers in Japan, you know it's damn near impossible to bear. But that being said, because it's hot, the sandal game in Japan is enough to take the heat risk. That's how bomb they are. Thing is, sandals in Japan aren't just the stomping grounds of the world-renowned suikoke. Which, if we're being real and you're a fan of sandals, why don't you have some suikokes on your feet? Like, why? But no, okay, it's not just suikoke. It's designer brands like Julius and mid-market brands like Takeo Kikuchi, sports luxury like Y3, and even Nike goes out of their way to release Japan exclusive sandal models. And I get it, sandals are everywhere, but they're just something special about how Japanese labels do sandals. And it makes sense. This is a country where there is a storied history behind sandal-looking footwear. And I suppose that's why they go all out, but it's still a major suggestion for an essential due to the fact that there are so many unique styles that you'll certainly have your work cut out for you choosing a pair. So do your feet a favor in the hotter months, no matter where you live, and give them some sandal love from the rising sun. Anyway, next is that drapery, that drape. Anything that adds some movement to the body is plentiful in Japan, and you should definitely take it up if it's your cup of tea. It certainly is for me, and I don't regret it one bit. I got a whole slew of them. I mean, in Japan, they have various names from long cardigans to gowns. Sometimes it's called kimono because they resemble them, but most of the time they're just gowns, or like I said, long cardigans. Now these pieces obviously come from the aforementioned kimono tradition of Japan, but have expanded beyond the formal structure of said traditional clothing. And honestly, it's no use naming all of the brands that have them because they are effing everywhere. They are not hard to find. Now, half the reason that some people can't find them is that they're looking for specific brands they already know that will have them. But in Japan, it doesn't necessarily work that way. I mean, I could tell you, yeah, like Takeo Kikuchi may have some ground wide, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, if you just go to like zozotown.jp or .com and then search for long cardigans, and change the length to long, which is an option, you'll get brands you never even heard of in the search feed. A whole bunch of them. So if you're looking for a starting point, check out Trove for some inspiration and go from there. But again, like the Zozo thing is basically like a cheat code. So do that and you'll find your drape gown stuff flowing around everywhere in different kinds of models and colors. You'll like it. I do. Some of you might not, but I think it's kind of cool to know that they exist. Speaking of drapery, layered pants. And I have to admit, these aren't for everyone. They're not, because among the straight-laced among you, there's nothing wrong with that straight laciness. That no shade thrown is what I'm saying. But for those of you in that Brood, Yoji, Rick, Julius, Brutalist camp, going through your life without layered pants from the numerous Japanese brands that have them is basically, it's sacrilegious. Now, some of you already know this, like you have your layered pants and you've dealt with people saying it looks like you're wearing a skirt, especially if you're a dude, but you don't care anymore, or hopefully you don't. It's an aesthetic, it's an acquired taste, but they are also amazing. But I think this is about a time to make a little side note here. I noticed that Japanese fashion for many US Westerners in particular is a mixed bag. Some people love it, others dislike the US adoption that they say runs rampant in Japanese fashion. Some ridicule it, but mostly people just don't understand it. To that, I say, it's a different culture, peoples. It's important to remember that, so we don't get caught up in like the whole trope that there's a general way that looks aesthetically pleasing when styling yourself, and we should follow those rules. Yeah, because the general way isn't universal. And in Japan, it certainly isn't. So yeah, like the rules don't apply everywhere. You really shouldn't cast your own thinking on everybody, on all the cultures, just because you want to understand like the world more simply, I guess. Anyway, layered pants, get some or don't. You don't have to do that. Certainly, it is your choice. These are just suggestions. They are awesome, but they may not fit into everybody's wardrobe, and that's cool. But before any more suggestions, let's get a word from our sponsor, Squarespace. You've probably heard that Squarespace is one of the best places to build a website. If you've been here, I know you have. They have award-winning templates, backend analytics, a host of essential integrations, and phenomenal customer service, right? Well, let's go ahead and add to that. Squarespace now gives you the opportunity to build your own email templates, edit your future website on mobile, and now has a video app so you can make your site even more personal for visitors. And you're gonna wanna use all those because Squarespace's new members areas allow you to create communities, monetize, and give back to your most loyal followers and fans. And that's just the surface. By joining up, you can save 10% off of your website by using our link, squarespace.com/thecasual. So get started on that site and use Squarespace today. So, if you do get some layered pants, you must also get some platform boots. And when it comes to platform boots, almost no one does it better than Japan, or as good as Japan, whatever. And Western brands even know this. Like Doc Martens drops platform exclusives in Japan all the time. And brands like Julius and the Veridian throw down on some unique high quality Artelier-like products that will stay in your closet for decades should you partake. I mean, footwear in general in Japan from Japanese brands are just damn near incredible. There's just one small issue, one small caveat, if you will. If you got big feet, you are donezo. Japanese people ain't rocking with 11s and 12s, bruh. They're just not. Hell, there's barely even any 10s. That said, if there is a collab with a Western brand or you catch luck with like Julius, which sometimes gets up to 10, you won't regret the purchase. Japanese boots will change your life. No joke. They will also challenge you. They will challenge you to do something a little bit different, something you may not be used to. Some people are just like, you know what, I can't go that far, I can't do it. But to like a lot of Japanese people, they're just very normal. It's like a regular boot. So many people wearing platform, not just boots, but shoes in general. So it's just a different way of going about it. It may be jarring to see it on somebody who's not Japanese, I guess, because you kind of have that idea. Anyway, I'm just saying, platform boots are great. You should definitely check out some, even if they're not so like super platform, but they're amazing. All right, so earlier I was speaking about fabric, you know, like the cardboard knit hoodie thing, right? Like which you should absolutely, you have to get. Well, I'm going to one up that because it's another thing that like it's a have to get. So basically anything made with SOLOTEX, anything. SOLOTEX is a Japanese developed fabric that is light, sweat wicking, water resistant, breathable, and doesn't feel or move like nylon. It doesn't, which is a big plus because nobody wants to sound like nylon, wishing around everywhere. Oh, and it's also stain resistant. It's also that. It's just amazing. Now, SOLOTEX was developed specifically as a fabric for Japanese business people to wear without the need to iron every day and to provide protection and comfort, which I feel comes with its own can of worms, having people work all the damn time. Well, at least your clothes feel good. But hot damn it, the fabric is wonderful. Get a shirt, pants, a skirt, whatever in this fabric. Just do it. And all of the Japanese silhouettes that are available for it. I think Gramisi, Ships, Urban Research, and even North Face Japan are using SOLOTEX regularly. So you got your pick of the litter in that case. Just get some though. You'll be surprised and you'll be happy you did. I practically buy all of my basics at SOLOTEX for the summer. But it's not just summer material. The fabric has gotten so popular in Japan, it's practically used for any occasion. It's crazy, but it's amazing. And it's like the essential in Japan right now. Like the new. It's that. And you should have it or have some, at least try to get some. You have to. And that is me telling you that is the thing in Japan that you should absolutely be checking out. And it's not super expensive when you try to get it. I mean, if you get it from an expensive brand like Descent, yeah. North Face will be in that kind of mid-tier. But like Urban Research, you can find some stuff. Nano Universe, you can find some SOLOTEX stuff for a good price. And it comes with the benefit of having those Japanese silhouettes. So, I mean, that's me giving you an in on what's happening over here, especially when it comes to the technical fabrics. And I guarantee you'll be happy for it. It's also minimal. It's not all branded and everything. It's just, you know, depending on the brand that you pick up. SOLOTEX is just amazing. It's great. I have a whole bunch of SOLOTEX stuff. It's just great. And that is all I got for you on the Japanese essentials this time because it all changes. So we'll be sure to give you an update on some new developments probably every season. In the meantime, let us know any of the items on this list that tickled your fancy. I don't like that phrase, but it's hilarious. Or suggest what else you'd like to see on the channel. Join us on Patreon or YouTube. YouTube is probably better for benefits and extras if you can. It certainly helps us keep the lights on and helps us keep this thing in order. But at the very least, drop a like, sub, turn on notifications if you found this content valuable or entertaining to you. But most importantly, keep it locked right here for all of your info in international fashion culture and business from Tokyo. It's your boy, and keep it casual. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. And I will see you guys in a minute.